So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all 3 boss fights within the Tortured Path and the best ways to go about completing them. Now, the way that the Tortured Path works, if you're not aware, is it's split into 3 different chapters of 3 different mini maps. And each map consists of surviving till wave 11 where you escape and finish the map, and there's a boss fight in every single one. Now, this is not in any way related to the main Easter egg, and all of this stuff that you're seeing is no spoilers at all to do with the Easter egg, but instead is a little comprehensive guide on the best ways to go about each boss fight so that you can defeat them in case you're having any trouble. If at any point you find this video useful, do let me know down below in the comment section, and also feel free to leave a like rating, as I'd really appreciate that. But we're going to start with the first chapter called Into the Storm, which ends with a boss fight against a Super Brenner. This is the flamethrower zombie, and this isn't your typical zombie. Now, in order to achieve this, you need to have completed all the previous waves and made sure that you didn't fail any objectives to make your way to wave 10 for you to get to this boss fight. When it comes to setups for each boss fight, I can't recommend the 9mm SAP starting pistol, as well as using shell shock for your loadout, as this makes your life a lot easier. Now, the way that this boss fight works is this Brenner is going to spawn in and he's going to be invincible, and the only way that you're going to be able to destroy this invincibility bubble that this Brenner is consistent within is by looking on the ground. As you are around the map, you're going to see a small circle which is going to be surging with this red light. You'll see it on the ground, and then about 5 to 10 seconds later a smaller ring will be within there, and you have to make sure that you and the Super Brenner are within that at the right time, as missiles are firing down from the sky, and the objective here is to hit the Brenner, which will destroy its sort of bubble shield, allowing you to shoot it. And like you're seeing on screen here, with the 9mm SAP upgraded, this thing is just absolutely tearing this Brenner to pieces. It's so powerful against the boss, and it's simply a case of rinse and repeat. Now, this thing is going to cycle around the map, this airstrike going to cycle around the map in various points, so it's all about timing and basically being at the right place at the right time. But it seems to always jump between these 2 main parts of the map near the spawn pretty much all the time, and it might slowly change up a little bit here and there and make its way around the different portions of the maps, but as long as you're within this vicinity and you're keeping a note, you should always be good. Now, of course, you don't want to get too close to the Brenner, as this flamethrower can over a short period of time burn you and you'll start taking damage and losing your armor hits, and that's not what you want at all. This is genuinely quite a easy boss fight. You simply need to use just your pistol alone and you'll be good. You can see during this portion there are times where the airstrike spots disappear and are, you know, a little bit further away than what I'm used to, but then it makes up for it as it sort of wants to keep spawning around where your general location is. But as the airstrike hits, it stuns the Brenner and lets you have ample time to be able to shoot it with your choice of weapon, and right there and then we managed to defeat this thing in literally 1 minute 30, if that. It's pretty darn quick and simple. I'd also of course recommend that you have a great perk layout, which for me in the solo game I had quick revive, double tap, speed cola, as well as quick reload. All of that combined gave me a great loadout for me to be able to defeat this very quickly, and with that starting pistol upgraded, it's a piece of cake. Once you've got to the evac point and survived until extraction, and you're in that point when the timer hits 0, you've completed that chapter, and we can move on to chapter 2. Now, chapter 2 is called Across the Depths, and the boss fight in this is going to be the Stad Jaeger, which we saw within the previous zombies map, the Shadowed Throne. This boss fight is a little bit simpler in terms of when you can damage him, as there is no specific timing where you can't. He's not invincible, unlike the previous boss, but there is a point where shooting him will literally do no damage. There's a certain timing window where he'll take damage, and a lot of it as well with the starting pistol, and the way that this works is the Stad Jaeger is going to shoot out a few grenades at a time. It's going to come out from one of his arms, and you'll be able to see the grenade indicator on the screen if you're near him. But essentially, once he shot these grenades, once those go off, there is a time window where he will start to take damage, and you can just go all out with your starting pistol upgraded, the 9mm SAP, and deal a ton of damage. There'll be moments where he'll be charging at you, and if he does hit you, he's still vulnerable vulnerable to damage, so be sure to just keep shooting him. But basically, whenever he shoots the grenades, just before they go off, he will be invincible. But once you start this chain of him attacking you and him being vulnerable to damage, it shouldn't take you too long at all for you to be able to kill him, and you can go around in a very nice sort of training circle around this section of the map to be able to defeat him. And once you've defeated him, you'll see he'll have like a very tiny amount of health left, and he'll have this crazy animation where parts of him explode before he dies, and that will be it. Simply, just like the last, go to the evac point and survive until the evac counts down to 0, and once you're in that, you'll have completed chapter 2, and we can go on to the last one, which is the awesome chapter in my opinion, which is called Beneath the Ice. Now, once you get to wave 10, you'll come across a boss called the Guardian, which is a brand new boss we've never seen before inside of zombies, and it is a bit of a brute, I'll tell you that. He is very, very quick and nimble on his feet, so no matter how fast you run, he's pretty much going to be behind you. And like I said, a bit like the previous boss, there is always going to be a time where he will take damage, but once he's taken a certain amount of damage, he's going to make his way back to this middle room, this sort of like blood sacrifice room, and he's going to start doing a ritual where he's going to heal himself and slowly regain health. When this happens, you simply want to shoot the statues above his head which are glowing. You'll need to shoot all of those, and that will stop him from healing and will make him sort of stunned for a short amount of time. He'll be flat out on the ground, and there'll be an open window for you to deal a lot of damage without him being able to attack you. Now, I will admit, if you can get a upgraded Tesla gun from the crate drops during this or just before you start this boss fight, there is one in particular, I believe it's the Hurricane, and this thing is amazing. When this brute, this Guardian, is running towards you and you shoot that thing at it, it will stun him and he won't be able to move. So it's definitely a awesome gun to use. And also, if there's any zombies in the midst of that as well, they're gonna have a hard time as they're gonna die. They're gonna get stunned and die as well. Now, of course, you have a lot of map to run around, so don't use just this middle area as your only place to run around and try and deal damage to the Guardian, as you know, he can catch you off guard. He has a few different attacks which are pretty crazy. He has a very fast speed to be able to get back to where you are, and he basically has like a ground pound where he just keeps slamming the ground, so anywhere near that area, if you're standing there, you're gonna be stunned. You won't be able to move. Any zombies nearby get killed by it as well, so it makes it a little bit useful actually to deal more damage to him whilst he's doing this. We also have another ability where he can literally draw you towards him. It's very strange, and it does stun you for a brief moment as well, so if there's a lot of crowded zombies around you, it's definitely going to be a rip, possibly a down right there. So just make sure as you're fighting this guy, you're taking out any nearby hordes of zombies as well, and keep a tab when you're running away from him, as he might be running back to the middle to heal himself. And again, it's just a case of shooting the statues, which will stop the healing process, and then you can go right back to inflicting damage into him. Like I said, can't recommend highly enough the 9mm SAP pistol upgraded to use against all these bosses. The damage is incredible. Just make sure you've also got double tap as well as speed cola and stamina when it comes to all of these boss fights. You can be nimble, you can be strong, and you can be very quick when it comes to firing this thing. And also make sure as well that you're taking advantage of the ammo boxes around each of the 3 chapters, as you're definitely going to run out of ammo at some points before you get to this, so it's always good to be stocked up on ammo. But definitely try and keep your distance from the Guardian, as he does have 1-hit kills which can literally down you in 1 hit. Bear in mind, if you don't have armor, it's definitely going to be a down straight away, but if you've got armor, it'll probably take off maybe 1 to 2, if not all of your armors, straight away from your first basically smash into him. And may I also remind you, as this is quite useful and you might want to be making sure you're checking this, you can see in the top left of your screen is a timer. You only have a certain amount of time to be able to defeat these bosses before you fail it, and you fail the entire map and you've got to restart again from wave 1. Definitely be trying to do this as quickly as humanly possible, as you don't want to run out of time. But with these techniques, with these different weapon setups, I definitely recommend the starting pistol and a upgraded Tesla gun as standard for every single boss fight from that I've showed you in all of the 3 chapters. You're going to be able to do this within the time slot without a shadow of a doubt. It will probably be the 3rd chapter's boss fight, the Guardian, which you might have a little bit of time left, maybe not a lot, but if you're keeping things good, you're being swift and noble about everything, then you should be able to defeat this absolutely no problems, and you'll have all 3 boss fights complete. Now, like I mentioned at the start of the video, this is no way linked to anything related to the main Easter egg quest. I'm assuming that just like the Final Reich, there is a bunch of hidden things which we have not discovered yet at the time of me making this video, and there could possibly be a different boss fight when it comes to the final Easter egg boss fight, which you've seen within this video. It could be the Guardian, it could be a completely different boss. All we know is that this is only scratching the surface, and it's just the bare gameplay of what you can expect from all 3 of the chapters. But make sure you're subscribing with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on anything we find to do with the Easter egg, as we will be hunting all day long from the time of this video going out. So be sure to catch up with all the live streams and videos by subscribing with the notification bell turned on. And if you enjoyed this video and you found it useful for when you jump in, if you're having a bit of trouble, let me know if it helped. Drop a thumbs up. I'll catch you next time.